Mhm.
Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Darleen, and I have the lovely Nadine. Now, I'm so excited because Nadine's coaching platform, Save a Million Cents, empowers her community to heal their money wounds and unlock freedom and clarity. Now, Nadine believes that integrating the shadow aspects of oneself leads to greater self-discovery and compassion. And I totally agree with that. Nadine uses a hybrid money and life coaching method to guide her clients towards a new paradigm. I nearly said it wrong. Money as friend and ally in a life fueled by curiosity and purpose. And you are so talking my passion, like one of my passions anyway. I've got like a billion passions.
Yeah.
I think it's one of them because I grew up really poor. So I've had so many money stories and all that kind of crap. And
We
so
all do. Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing we do, don't we? And so I'd actually love
Mhm.
to know just, more about you and everything. Let's just,
Tell you everything in like 30 minutes. Okay.
yeah.
So, first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Nadine. I'm currently living in Melbourne, in Australia. And we were just chatting about how cold it is here, actually. So it's supposed to be summer. Anyway, I came to this work in 2015. I've always been money savvy. Like I grew up with a lot of trauma around money, a lot of financial abuse, emotional abuse as well. But money was always something I was very scared of, not scared of looking at,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of felt like the stick, like it was the carrot and the stick at home. It was definitely a love language and
Mm-hmm.
something we're either rewarded by for being, good children, or something that is withdrawn from us as a way of punishment.
Wow.
So I grew up with a lot of savviness in terms like I knew how to budget, I knew how to do all these things. But in 2015, I was living here in Melbourne and I decided to go travel. And I went and traveled in the US for my 34th birthday, and I found myself in New Orleans. And when I was there, I had my first tangible, let's say, spiritual awakening.
Mm.
And I knew then and there that the life that I was leading, even though it was very fulfilling, I was working at Melbourne Uni, I had a really good social life, stable job, lots of hobbies, did circus training, lots of creative outlets.
Mm.
But I knew that I needed something more in
Mm.
my life. And all of a sudden, none of that felt fulfilling. It was like day and night. I
Yeah.
went from like, fuck yeah, I love my life to, okay, none of this makes sense. And I kind of like uncovered my life purpose, which is helping people better express themselves. To
Wow.
get there, I had to do a lot of healing because I do believe that your soul gives you these nudges and makes you desire what you desire so that you can do the healing work
Mm-hmm.
and the work that is necessary for your evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that desire of becoming a coach and helping people, I had to do a lot of my own money trauma healing. And my money trauma looked very different to, every money trauma looks different. As you were saying, we all come with a money story, whether we grew up rich, whether we grew up poor. Our trauma with money, sometimes I would say 90% of the time, has nothing to do with the conditions by which we grew up in,
Mm.
because our trauma around money can come from the trauma that is from other parts of our lives.
Oh.
So your attachment wounds affect your relationship with money. Whether you were a parentified child will affect your relationship with money as an adult. The way that your self-worth was perceived and taught to you will also portray the way that you treat money as an adult. So money trauma is different to financial trauma.
Mm.
Financial trauma is any trauma that is related to any financial distress, poverty, anything that is related to money directly. But money trauma is more about how your trauma affects your relationship with money.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You just blow my mind. Like,
Yes.
it is, I've just suddenly gone, holy crap. That's where it
Mm-hmm.
just makes so much sense now. Because
Yes.
I
Yes.
have done a lot of work on my money stuff and I'm definitely getting better at it.
Yes.
Yet, like far out, I'm just like speechless, really, because it's just made so much sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
It does make sense when it's put that way.
yeah.
And this didn't come at me, like I didn't read this in a book.
Mm.
At the time, it wasn't something people talked about. It's more talked about now. So at the time, I had to come to this conclusion on my own that like it's not a budget that's going to help me heal my money wounds. It's actually doing trauma work in general and healing my attachment wounds.
And I love how you said about attachment, because I completed a diploma of counselling in March this year, I think it was. And so I've learned a lot about those kind of things. So if
Yep.
anyone's watching, look up attachment theory, and it'll just blow your mind, because there's all different kinds of attachment in that. And
Yep.
so for me, that makes so much sense, because for me, there was no attachment. It was just, you know, the way my parents parented, is that there was no, the love language, I'm looking back, I'm not even really sure. So there was actually no attachment. And so that's where my trauma came from. I've just had a big
Okay.
realization with that. It's like,
Yeah. So for me, like I wanted to have an impact, but my money trauma stopped me from really investing in myself. So that's how my journey started with this, which is what I always say, like your trauma is not like it doesn't hold you back. It can actually, when you heal it and integrate it, it can actually give a different essence and flavor to your life purpose.
It does. And especially when you're in business, like money, you know, money's had a big impact on my business. And I talk about this honestly, like I'm pretty open about a lot of stuff. And so for me, you know, I had a hobby for a few years, and now it is a business now. And so I've
Beautiful.
built
Yeah.
some beautiful money stories. And one of them is I actually look at my bank accounts, because I do that, you know, I think it's profit first. And so I've got different bank accounts, and I look at that and I'm like, wow, you know, look at what I've done. Look at the healing that I've done to achieve this.
Nice work. Yes, this is something definitely to celebrate.
Yeah, yeah. And so how do you actually help your clients, you know, find their money stories and their money trauma and everything?
So I do that in different ways. So sometimes people, you know, like you for now, at the moment, you weren't aware that different kinds of trauma actually affects your relationship with money. So sometimes it is just a matter of how do you build a healthy relationship with money. So I have an online community and a course called the Money Sanctuary. This is exactly for creatives and artists that want to start building or cultivating a healthier relationship with money. So one of the things I teach on there is the bucket system, which is what you mentioned from the profit first. So I call it the bucket system. Many people, you know, the Barefoot Investor uses that, but I stumbled upon it way earlier. And then when I read it in books, I was like, oh, validated. Awesome. There is also things that I teach on there of how to actually attain your financial goals or achieve your financial goals without compromising your values or your creativity. So I'm a very big promoter of how you align your spending with your values and how your soul desires also deserve a bucket in your spending plan. So yeah, inside the Money Sanctuary, we go inside of those things, like what is a credit score? What is these like really jargony financial icky things? And then that progresses into how your money and your life as a creative artist, has this creative spiritual, how does that actually, do they intertwine? Because a lot of people feel like they need to suppress one part of them to become financially successful, but the Money Sanctuary is about making that part of you more obvious and making your money go to follow that. And then we go a little bit into money healing, but my one-on-one is where we go deep into money healing, deep into the money story, your money blueprint, and start uncovering the patterns that are actually running your life. But it's not just, it starts with money, but it just expands because it's all interconnected. So it really is a trauma healing journey through the lens and the gateway of money, because money is so hairy and sticky and volatile that as soon as I hear somebody's feelings around money, I can exactly pinpoint what their trauma is and what the underlying pattern is. So that saves people years of therapy, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying it's better, but it's more targeted, and it's me. I have walked through this, that healing journey, so I know what to look for. So
But
that's what it looks like. It's like a group coaching, but then if you want more, there is the one-on-one healing journey with me. Yeah.
And that's really powerful what you just said, to be able to nail, what to, like, that's just an amazing ability that you've got to listen to somebody and nail it. I mean, that's just incredible, because
Yeah.
a lot of money
Thank
coaching.
you. It is a quite good talent that I'm proud of. Not scared to toot my own horn on this.
No, well, I'm going to toot it, because that is incredible. And the reason that I'm tooting it, it's because of the Diploma of Counselling course. So I really understand the fact that that is a amazing ability, like truly amazing ability to do that, to be able to listen to somebody and just go vroom, because like, and the same thing, because I'm honest, I see a psychologist and everything, and some things can just take too long. And I'm the type of person like, no, just let's get to the core. Let's get to the real stuff now,
The thing is, like, I also, I'm all about talk therapy, but I always felt that it wasn't enough. Talk therapy is great, mindset work is great, but they're not enough, because trauma lives in the body. Your body holds, or actually, what's the book called? Your body keeps the score. Your body holds trauma. And when you do money coaching or money healing the way I do it, we go into the somatics, we go inside the body and ask parts of your body, because it's not the mind, it's not a mindset game.
Yep. Yeah, totally. And
that's why it's deeper than just talk therapy.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And that's why next year I'm going to be doing a lot more of those kind of courses, like courses, somatic courses, because
somatics are incredible.
It's incredible, isn't it? Because I am a mindset coach, but I want to take it even deeper. Like, I want to, like, thankfully, because of the Diploma of Counselling, I can pick up on things really quickly, but I do want to take it deeper. And that's why I love people like you that, that work with the trauma, because the more that we can do that, the better our life is. Like, my life is amazing. I mean, as I said, once this beautiful interview is finished, I'm going for a swim in the ocean. Like, hello.
Beautiful.
I would have never done that when I
was on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when I was nursing, no way. Lucky to get a break. And it's just, it's so cool. And how did you discover, like, the trauma and all of that? Like, is it just from the work that you did?
From me. Yeah. That is how I stumbled upon all of this. It's from my desire to express my life purpose.
Yeah. And isn't that amazing when you find your life purpose? Like, it's just incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's so profound when you find it. Like me, because I want to work, I do work with business women that have mental health issues. And as I said, I want to take it deeper. And like, sometimes when I really talk about it, I have tears in my eyes, because it's so, like, when you find it, like, I love nursing, but to find our purpose, and for you to find the money, like, just you talking about it, I'm like, and of course you talked about it, I'm like, oh. So I'll make sure in the description that we've got a link to all of that as well.
Yeah, I've also just released a podcast, actually. Like, it's 3 weeks old. My baby, my 3-week-year-old baby podcast. So I think you might find a lot in there about the first couple of episodes really help people. It is targeted for people who are creatives. Like, what is money? The second episode is actually called "What the fuck is money?" But it's like, what is money for a creative, and how your impact is related to money. The first episode is really talking about my journey, so it's like a very in-depth of what I shared here, but it is said in a way that will guide you to start asking yourself the questions to start healing your own money trauma. So like, it's called Beyond the Fear. I highly recommend it. It's really, really, I'm quite proud of it. I've gotten amazing reviews.
I'll make sure we got a link. And you've just said something really interesting, something that I tuned in, because as you can see, I'm a creative, and you said money's different for creatives. And I'm like, hang on.
Yeah, of course. Money is very different for creatives.
But how? Like, I'm like, how?
Okay, let me ask you this. So, do you know any, I'm sure you know, like look at people around you, go to the supermarket, for example, and look at somebody who is like a stockbroker or an accountant. How do you think money plays a role in their life versus your life?
So I think they're focusing on money all the time. Whereas for me,
Maybe.
it's just like it's an absolute blessing. Like, I love it because it's helping me do what I really love doing, which is this and painting. And
Money is different when we look at it as an avenue for healing. And when we look at money as, like you said, when we look at money as a way for us to express our life purpose and elevate our community versus wealth.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with wanting nice things, nothing wrong with building wealth. I'm all for that. But when we look at money from a creative and spiritual perspective, we look at it as, how can money help me heal and elevate and expand my soul?
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. I'm going to make sure I, when I watch the recording, pause that and actually write that, put that in description, because that's just like far out. Like, that's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense to me, because I am building wealth. Like, I do want the nice things. And
of course, we all want the nice things. We all deserve the nice things. Your soul wants nice things. And we are here in this 3D experience, not just for purpose, but also for pleasure.
Exactly.
Experiencing things through our 6 senses is one of our life purposes.
Yes. Thank you. Because so many people, like, yes, we do have a purpose, but as you just said, sensing the world is our purpose. We're here on Earth. And like, I'm loving this conversation.
Beautiful. Me too. So just looking at money from that different lens is actually what is needed right now, because I feel like our behaviors with money as a collective are very fear, greed, and scarcity driven. And this is what is creating our current reality. So when we heal our money wounds as individuals, especially as people that are heart-led, creatively led, and spirit-led, this is when we start healing the world.
Yes.
It's one of the ways to start healing the world.
But it's a big, profound way, because for me, as I said, money is a blessing. I love money. You know, I want as much as I can get, because the more that I can get, the more that I can do for my community. Like, you know, I'm going to be offering scholarships. I'm going to be doing lots of things. Like, I actually volunteer as a surf lifesaver, so that's part of it as well. And I want to be able to give to my club to support them to buy stuff.
Yes, and money makes you more generous.
It does. It really does.
Doesn't it?
It does.
Generous, not just financially, but generous with your time, generous with your attention, generous with your offerings.
That's so true. So true. And when you just said about generous with the offerings, I went, of course it does. Like, hello.
Yes, of course. But it's, you know, again, not from a martyr perspective. It is from a perspective of, I give from a full cup.
Yes. And I say that so many times, that you need to constantly fill your cup up before you can actually do anything for others. And that's why I'm doing lots of different things to make sure that my cup is full. Exactly. And actually, on that note, just totally off the side, what do you do to fill your cup up?
Well, my cup is full from just listening to my intuition and giving myself space to follow that intuition and doing the things that just turn me on in life. you know, whether it's cuddling with my little dog and reading a book with a cup of coffee, one of my favorite things to do, going on a hike, spending the day at the beach, going for a trip, having a good meal, engaging my six senses, connecting with, you know, my intuition and on a spiritual level, like going into deep meditation or deep channeling sessions. Just things like that. Really, they're very simple. They don't need to be, filling our cup doesn't need to be like manicures, massages, and all that. These are great. But self-care and filling our cups, especially as spiritual entrepreneurs, especially as creatives, it doesn't come just from, you know, like spending all that money. There is a nuanced kind of way how to fill our cup and how to self-care.
Yep, I agree. And
so one of the big things also is caring for my nervous system. So
yes, isn't that, that's so important. And I really believe that there's so much we can do that doesn't cost money, because there are people out there that don't have money, and, you know, let's support them. Let's fill their cup up without having to spend money. You know, like there's lots of things that you mentioned that you don't need to spend money on. And it's a beautiful way to actually be resourceful as well. So, and it opens up the mind. It's like, oh, so what?
It's true. Yeah. I do remember when I was a student, or at times in my life where money was tight, it's actually when I was the most creative in like, and resourceful, creative with like my meal planning. Like I love healthy food. So how can I eat healthy food, but also, you know, on a budget, for example, or how can I entertain myself on a budget? So sometimes, you know, but it's that creativity doesn't come from a place of survival. So that's why nervous system healing is very important. And when I say nervous system healing, doesn't mean like relaxation. What I mean is holding space for yourself when you're in dysregulation, and also allowing yourself when you're in survival mode to bring yourself out of that in a regulated, not a forceful feel the fear and do it anyway kind of situation, more like in integrity and in an authentic way. But creativity, resourcefulness, and all the stuff that we're talking about, it cannot come from a place of survival. You need to kind of bring a part of you into a place of connection first, even if you are kind of in fight or flight or freeze kind of thing. But yeah, that connection don't feel broken if you cannot feel that connection or that resourcefulness as of like on a whim, you know?
Yeah, and that's so important. And that's why it's so important to work with someone like you that understands trauma and the nervous system and regulation and that, because you'll then give your clients the tools that they can use when, you know, you're not available or things like that. You know,
of course,
when something happens, they've got the tools. And I mean, that's so important. And that's another beautiful thing that we do is that we don't go, okay, I'm the expert, so you have to come and see me all the time. Like
all the time. Yeah. Like how many times, I'm sure you've worked with coaches and stuff, but how many times do you find yourself in situations where your coach's voice is in your head? Like you're, you know, like your coach is inside your head saying or prompting you. Like, I love that. I love that about coaching. My coach's voices are in my head sometimes. Like, how would that feel? Or how would you reframe this or whatever? So don't underestimate the power and the impact of your own voice and your own trauma healing in your community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, Nadine, I could honestly talk to you forever, and I reckon we'll have to get you back.
Thank you. I'd love to be back. Thanks, Darleen.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be starting another playlist, which I will be turning this into a podcast next year. I'm really excited about that. But there'll be another playlist where it's Q&A. And so if anyone's watching and they've got any questions around money or anything like that, then please throw them all in the comments, because we'll get Nadine back to answer the questions.
Of course. Oh, that would be fun. I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you for this space, Darleen. It's what you're doing is very important.
Thank you. Yeah,
and
I love these.
Filling your cup, going to the beach, doing stuff like this for yourself is actually a beautiful thing to hear. And I'm jealous because I want to go to the beach and I'm freezing. I'm actually sitting here in a ski jacket because that's how cold the house is. Even though I can turn the heater on, it'll just affect the quality of the recording. So I'm like, I'm just going to wear my ski jacket.
I know, and that's like me. Like I've got a couple of fans on because it's that hot, and it's like,
God, and we're in the same country.
I know, isn't it awesome? Now, for anyone watching, please make sure you check the description because I will have where you can find Nadine plus her podcast. We'll make sure that we've got a link to that as well.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, react, comment, share, do all the amazing stuff that we do. And I'll see you on the next episode.